We are the Surmeyers, and we all know what happened in the world in 2020. After adjusting and realizing the world is changing, we did the same and planned an extreme adventure of living and working remote for a year with our 2 kids and our 2 dogs. Join us on Travels and Tribulations of learning a new way of living.
We are Patrick and Anna Surmeyer. We represent the sentient life of the really crazy family that's about to take a big trip.
But tell them what sentient means, because I didn't know that.
Being, like a living being, like a sentient being would be something that can feel. So this is not just human emotion, this is animals, anything that has a higher level of being and feeling. Patrick and I have been married for almost 18 years.
Almost, close.
We met in college. We both went to school in Central Florida at Stetson University. We have 2 kids. One is 7 and one is 4. And we have 2 dogs that'll be 10 in June.
When we went to college and we got our degrees, and the kind of degree we got was what they categorize like as a health science degree. So if you've got one like that, a lot of times that gives you the generalities of studies that you can go on and get advanced degree, like a master's or a doctorate, or go to medical school. And that would be cool, except that those things also cost a lot of money. So we took a year off just to kind of, see if you missed it, see if you want to go back to get that grad degree. I say accidental entrepreneur because I always had the itch, and I always had the creativity, and I'm always willing to take the risk. And then I eventually kind of cultivated that not only from working at other companies, but starting my own business. And our unique take on it now is that we decided to make them remote. Even prior to the COVID year when everyone had to adapt to remote, we had made that change even before that.
We got ahead of the curve there.
A little bit ahead of the curve. We decided in 2020, without going into the details of what happened in 2020, you'd have to be living under a rock to not know what happened. The idea was that many people took it from different perspectives. We have a history together as a couple of doing some extreme things and having some extreme ideas, and we usually act on them. The one thing I will say, as a family unit and together as a married couple, when one of us has an idea and then it kind of, the seed sits and cultivates within our mind, and then all of a sudden we start kind of talking through, and logistically you start to see things clear up, like the path open up and go, this can be done. Then we a lot of times end up taking action on that. So,
or if someone says, you can't do that.
The idea of being out and traveling and being around and feeling life, which is what the word kind of sentient means, was that we decided, hey, let's take a trip. Well, a lot of times our trip evolves from let's go on a vacation. And that vacation then turned into let's go for the summer. How are you gonna do that? And then when you look at the fact that we've got 2 dogs that we want to take with us on these trips instead of boarding them up for these months. So the evolution within about a 3-week period was vacation to now 1 year of what we are calling remote living.
Anytime decisions like this get made, we're very just rip the Band-Aid off. And then you have to figure out, how are we going to do this exactly? And there is a lot. We're kind of oversimplifying it, saying, hey, we're just gonna pick up and live in different locations. There's a ton of logistics that goes with it. But I will say, Patrick and I both have always just aimed to keep our lives very simple and just been flexible, knowing things are going to go wrong. So the biggest question I think I get asked as a mom is, what are you doing with your kids? Where are they going to school? How are you gonna do that? And the irony is, I think I really rounded the mountain a lot on that one, and they're just gonna get wild schooled for a year. And if you really think about the way that kids learn educationally, they're gonna be fine. We're taking them to some of the most incredible places on the planet, and they're going to learn because that's how we are as humans. I'm excited about this learning experience myself. Maybe I secretly am going back to my 3rd grade years of learning about all these things about our country. But we're homeschooling them. We have 2 dogs, they're coming with us. They are emotional support dogs, so there's not a lot of issues with traveling with them. We're human, we're smart, we're intelligent people. Our kids are gonna love it, and this is an experience that we may not get so freely as our kids get older, so we're really excited about it. We travel quite often. I would say once or twice a year overseas, and that is just what our family was already used to. So this isn't like we've never left the state and now we want this big adventure. So you trap us in the house in a global pandemic, and the longer it went, the more that we just wanted to get out. We wanted to adventure, we wanted to do more. It's hard to just be stuck in your mind. So it started by, what, we haven't seen a lot of the US. Let's go out west for a summer. And then we were like, well, actually there's a lot more things that we want to see. Why not 6 months? We already did it when we had to take care of the kids when COVID started, pull them out of school for a few months. How hard could it be? And the more and more we looked into it, it was like, why not just do something that's really radical that will be a true immersive experience? And that is when we decided to take a year off of a very comfortable, happy, wonderful life. All of our friends are here, our family is here, all of the people that work with us are here. And so this is not something, it's not an escapism, it was just what is something that will stretch us so far out of our comfort zone that will come back with just completely different experiences and perspective. And that is exactly why we chose to do this.
We couldn't figure out a reason why not to do it, just given the timing within our life. If you can imagine living just in a different place for a period of time and adapting yourself to it. I'm like, we live in a really progressive world in the United States, or I'd say specifically the US. And we had noticed that we had seen actually more of Europe than we had even seen of our own country.
It was very important for us to have our kids see us in uncomfortable situations. I think one of the greatest lessons that you can give your children is the ability to be uncomfortable and find comfort in that discomfort.
Yeah, we're not looking for inconvenient situations. We don't go out like searching for it, but you do recognize there are inconvenient situations. At the time of us making this decision, our children were almost 4 and almost 7. By the time we get back from this trip, we're leaving in June of 2021, they will be 5.5 and 8.5 years old. We had to kind of start somewhere we thought, okay, we will make this our starting ground. We're taking an entire week to go from Orlando, Florida to Denver, Colorado. And we've got 30 days that we found on an Airbnb, negotiated with the individual to stay for a whole month at a lower cost. And now we actually took that trip and we're in the process of planning out the rest. It looks like South Dakota is going to be our second leg of the trip. We're trying to figure out from that point in late July, early August as to whether we take it going all the way up towards Washington or if we actually start to go a little bit further south.
Hey guys, it's Patrick. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk you through our house because we're in this position where we're actually starting to pack up everything and decide what we're gonna take with us on this trip. It's not easy. So we've lived in our home for 7.5 years. We'll never forget the date because our daughter Vivian was born the day after we signed the paperwork for this house. And so with that, we live here in a suburb within Orlando. And as we're trying to trek across the country and limit the things that we're gonna take with us into, I would call it kind of essentials. But now we're trying to figure out like what we pack up, what we sell, what we keep, what we bring with us, and how much space it's gonna take. So the Chariot we're taking with us on this trip is gonna be our 2017 Chevrolet Suburban. If you guys know what this vehicle is, it's one of the biggest vehicles that fits a lot of kids, a lot of dogs. You can pack a lot of people in this baby. It has been good to us for many years. We actually reduced and went down to 1 car. You can imagine we don't need 2 anymore. When we get back, we'll kind of figure out what car we get into, but working from home has had its perks. We haven't needed 2 vehicles. We're able easily to drop down to 1 as we go on this trip. And we plan to pop the dogs in the back, of course, without all the stuff, and the kids as well, and should get us across the country.
Like Patrick mentioned earlier, our goal for today was basically to put everything into a big pile and see what size trailer we needed. Now, this is our 4th take on this because of all the screaming in the background, so I just thought we would include a little real life. This is what it's like, just trying to get things organized, and that's okay. He's climbing the mountain, but I do realize not everyone travels for a year the same. Some of you might be in RVs, some of you might be like, I could never do something like this. Some of you are the type that just throw 3 outfits into a backpack and you go for it all around the world. Our situation is a little different. For us, 2 working professionals that both work remotely, we have 2 kids that are gonna be in school. We're wild schooling a little bit, but also 2 dogs. And we wanted to bring them all. So we're not going for lightweight. We're looking to live very large this year on a small scale. So these, for our family, really are essentials. This is daily life for us. So we finally decided to stop trying to fit it all into one tiny suitcase in the car, to make it comfortable, to make it memorable. So this is the beginning of our pile. We just added everything that we know that we would want. We've gotten rid of a lot, we've pared down a lot. It got real for us this last couple of weeks. Someone rented our house for next year, so it was kind of like, all right, couple months, we have no choice, we're out of here. So that's what this is, just trying to figure out the next step.